Why the laptop prices suddenly increased by 20 to 30% in financial year 2021? Why the cost of living increases rapidly when production cost increases? Why the demand for unique courses are increased and why it will increase in future also? Medicine, robotics and stock market like courses. What is the reason behind these increase in cost? Friends, of course, there are many reasons for increase in cost of above things. But one of the major reasons for increase in such prices and cost is inflation. So today our topic is inflation and we will discuss some more important concepts on inflation. Like what is inflation? What are the causes for inflation? How inflation affects the nation's economy? What investment products are better to beat inflation and many more. Friends, watch the video till end. I will reveal all the different types of modern investment products that beats inflation and gives you real investment returns. Hi friends, myself Shiva from Alfinz. Our aim is to raise your financial awareness through the videos we make on behalf of Alfinz channel. Please subscribe to Alfinz YouTube channel and follow the Facebook page to achieve financial freedom. Why late? Let's begin with the topic. Now we will see what is inflation. Inflation is generally said as rising prices of goods and services in an economy. Inflation can hit the nation when prices rise due to increase in demand for the goods, increasing cost of production such as wages, raw materials or expectation on future inflation in particular goods and services. A rush in demand for products and services by consumers can cause inflation. This is because consumers are ready to pay more for the product. When the cost of general items, necessities like vegetables and commodities and all other goods and services rise, the entire economy is affected. Rising prices impact the cost of living, the cost of doing business, borrowing money, mortgages, corporate business and government bond yields and of course every other part of economy. Inflation rates are different in different nations and these rates ranges from 0 to 100. There are some nations where their inflation is below 0 and some nations where inflation is above 100. What does this 0 to 100 inflation indicates? It indicates the rate at which the thing or good is expected to rise over a period. Here, zero inflation means the cost of good will remain same in next year also. And 100 means the cost of good will increases by 100% in next year. Let us see small explanation now. Assume the cost of XYZ good is 100 rupees in 2021 and inflation is 10. Now the cost of XYZ good changes to 110 rupees by 2022. Say for if the inflation is 20, then the cost of XYZ good will increases to 120 by next year. So here you can understand one thing, with increase in inflation, the prices will increase over a period of time. Now we will see types of inflation. In general, inflation are divided into three types. One, demand pull inflation, cost push inflation, built-in inflation. What is demand pull inflation? The term itself tells that increase in price of goods and services is because of demand. In simple terms, if the demand is more than supply of any product or good, then automatically the cost increases. I have raised one question in starting of the video about electronics, especially laptops. The increase in price of these laptops by 20 to 30% is because of demand during COVID-19. That is, most of the companies allowed employees to work from home and many educational institutions started online teaching. What is cost push inflation? Here also the term itself tells that increase in price of goods and services is because of increase in production cost. That is, by increase in wages, raw materials and admin cost, etc. Example, if the production cost increases, automatically the price of goods and services will rise. This is because the money spent on wages, raw materials, etc. are increased. What is built-in inflation? This type of inflation is not based on increase in production cost or increase in demand. It purely depends on future expectations. Example, if people think that there is massive scope for any unique course in future like robotics, aviation industry and stock market, the cost of these courses will increase for sure in future. Let us see different inflation rates present in different countries. The average inflation rate in developed nations since last 10 years stood at USA 1.8%, UK 1.7%, Australia 1.6%, Germany 1.44%, France 1.1%. The average inflation rate in underdeveloped nations since last 10 years stood at Ethiopia 10.6%, Liberia 12.4%, Mozambique 15.1%, Burundi 16.05% and very danger and highly inflation rate in South Sudan is 187.8%. When it comes to developing nation like India, the average inflation rate since last 10 years is around 7.3%. And if you see, since last 5 years, the average inflation rate has come down to 5.1%. There are some nations where their average inflation rate since last 10 years is even below zero. The nations are UAE minus 1.9%, Saudi Arabia minus 2.1%. So far, we have seen different inflation rates in different nations. But what is the recommended inflation rate, or what should be the ideal inflation rate? Now we will see the recommended inflation rate and merits and demerits of this inflation. Coming to merits, the optimal inflation rate is often said to be around 2%. This optimal inflation rate around 2 to 3% is considered to be healthy for the growing economy because it directly results in increase in salaries and wages to working people and helps in increasing profitability of the companies, especially maintains the capital inflow of growing economy. Now coming to demerits. If the inflation is very high, the nation's economy will tend to fall down with increasing prices. It has great impact, that is, erodes purchasing power, discourages spending on goods and services, and discourages investments, raises the cost of borrowing, increases unemployment. If the inflation is very low or below 0%, there will be a problem of deflation. What is this deflation? Deflation is exactly opposite scenario of inflation, which means the cost of goods and services tend to decrease over a period of time. This deflation is due to increase in production and decrease in demand. Deflation will also slow down the economy by poorer floating of money. Now we will see the causes for inflation. There are many causes for inflation. The most important are monetary policy. If money supply or money printing increases, the real value of currency tend to decrease. This leads to heavy inflow of money for the same product or services spent before. Second, fiscal policy. Every nation's economy is determined by fiscal policy, that is, how fiscal deficit or fiscal surplus is taken into consideration. In this process, the high inflow of money through debt or extreme outflow of money by public welfare schemes will lead to higher inflation. Third, exchange rates. The base currency value for all the nations are exchanged in terms of dollars. If there is high fluctuations in dollar value, there will be impact on every nation's currency. Fourth, government regulations. There are many public welfare schemes offered by the government, which results in higher outflow of money that is beyond nation's budget. Anyhow, there are some more causes for inflation. They are rising wages, decrease in import prices, raw material prices, decreasing productivity, higher taxes, and rising house prices. These also will affect inflation directly or indirectly to some extent. How inflation affects nation's economy? Inflation will have many bad effects on nation's economy. A rise in inflation directly or indirectly impacts nation's development. Higher inflation distracts nation's financial growth and can lead to financial crisis. Let us discuss some adverse effects of inflation. First is balance of inflow and outflow. With increase in inflation rate, the cost of goods and services becomes expensive. This indirectly impacts on exports and this leads to imbalance in outflow and inflow. Second, it impacts manufacturing sector. Increase in production cost, that is increase in wages, raw materials and admin cost, etc. will directly affect on companies' profit margins. Third, investments. Here investments play a vital role in every nation's economy. Such investments are mostly affected with less funds in hand. It slows down the inflow of investments from domestic and as well as foreign investors. Final, purchaser. Whatever the type of inflation it is, that could be demand pull, cost push or built-in inflation. The final victims are common people like you and me. What measures are required to avoid inflation? The first and foremost measure for controlling inflation is to reduce money supply by the nation through monetary policy. This reducing money supply is also possible by decreasing bond prices and by increasing interest rates, which results in less spending that leads to drop in prices of goods and services. Hence, inflation comes down. Friends, as of now, we have discussed about inflation, types and causes of inflation. Now the most important is best investment product available that beats inflation. Now coming to traditional investment products. First one is fixed deposits. Safe investment product which gives around 5 to 6% returns per annum. Second is metal investments. Old and traditional product that roughly gives 9 to 12% returns per annum. Third, real estate. Land is considered as the best investment product, but it requires huge investments and need to wait for long term to get best returns and around 15 to 18% per annum. Now coming to modern investment products, mutual funds. These are highly recommended investment products in modern days. Based on the past performance, mutual funds gave 12 to 15% returns per annum. Second is stock market. Risk hai to ishq hai. This proverbs absolutely syncs with stock market investments. Risk more, return more. If you take high risk, returns will be more and vice versa. But if you are consistent and disciplined with stock market, gives the average returns of 15 to 18% return per annum in long run. Friends, to know more about merits and demerits of investments, please go through the link given in the description below that we have already done on types of investments video. Also, to know more about mutual funds, stock market, please do subscribe to our channel, and for sure, because in future we will be telling more concepts on stocks and mutual funds. Friends, I hope you are clear with the topic. If so, please like and share the video. Also subscribe to Alfinz YouTube channel and follow the Facebook page. Moreover, if you have any doubts about financial product, please don't hesitate to post your query in the comment box and click on the bell symbol next to each video to receive future uploaded video notifications. Friends, if you want to clear your queries on stock market and mutual funds, you can also call me directly to my contact number displayed on screen below from morning 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on working days. Thank you.